Were you a kid? I mean, obviously you were a kid.
I was 15. Yeah, I was 15 at that time.
And you were actually kidnapped.
So there was, at that time, a lot of my friends got kidnapped and sold for prostitution.
Really?
So, yeah, the same thing happened. And my parents were able to pretty much save me.
So
how do they save you?
So when you get kidnapped, tell me, like, is it a van pull up and they just, how does that work?
It never happens like that. So in 8th grade, 2 of my friends just all of a sudden disappeared. And we were like, what happened? What happened?
Yeah.
And all of they were engaged, right? So there was these people that come and they I want to engage, I want to be engaged with your daughter. And people get scared because of what's happening. So they rather have somebody protect their daughter.
Yeah.
So then they get engaged and they don't come to school. And all of a sudden you hear them they're somewhere in a different country being sold for prostitution. I knew the people, right? So it wasn't anything like that, right?
So you knew them?
Yeah, I knew the people, right? So then...
How did you know them?
From school.
So they were like peers?
Yes. So I knew the people from school, and they just said, "Oh, we're just gonna go here, and we're just gonna have fun, and we're just gonna have drinks or whatever."
Like
right?
we're going to a party or a house or something?
Yes. Yeah, we're going to a party, and then all of a sudden I see that I'm being locked.
Wait. Okay. So
they were like recruiting you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're in a house?
I'm in a house. I don't know whose house it was or anything. It wasn't the same city. It was in a different city. And then for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, I'm just being given food and then like talking to the person. I say like, what's going on? And at that time I knew. In the meantime, my parents were searching for me. In the meantime, they had closed every port, every airport, everything. They had closed everything. And they had shut down all of the country.
And they were searching for you?
They were searching for me. My parents, my cousins, everybody. And I make a phone call. I'm allowed to make a phone call. And I told my mom exactly where I was. She's like, don't worry, we'll come in to get you. My parents were armed.
Yeah.
Head to toe.
As they should be.
They were armed and they had grenades and they had everything.
Wow. Wait, so help me understand. Why were you allowed to make a phone call?
After 3 days, because they wanted to make it seem that it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like, nothing that I thought would happen. So they wanted me to go along with it.
Like so that you could tell your parents,
yeah,
I'm
everything
fine,
was okay,
I'm fine.
Because I couldn't leave the house and they couldn't move. They couldn't move because my parents had locked everything.
Yeah.
They thought that was smart for them for me to make the call, so then the roads would open and because they couldn't move. Absolutely no.
Your parents came to the house the first time you got kidnapped, and then what happened? How did they save you?
Well, they came there, and so my mom was disarmed. So she came in and she got me. She said, everything's okay. Don't worry about it. I was crying. I was very ashamed. Very ashamed. So she came in and she's like, don't worry about it. So we got into a car and then we left. Just me and my mom and my dad, and everybody else came after. And my dad didn't talk to me for a year at that time.
Really?
He wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't. It was very hard for them to, because, again, this was not something that you trust the person, right? You don't think it's going to go anywhere. You don't think that's what's going to happen.
What happened to the kids at your school, the ones who initially brought you over?
To them, nothing.
They stayed? They stayed at the house?
They stayed there, yeah. Nothing happened to them, no.